Hello, guys. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. It's been a while I've been here discussing and talking about the things that come to my head. And today I'm feeling super encouraged and super motivated to do it. I just kind of wrote the topics that I want to talk about up there. And the thing is, first of all, this video is going to be in English, all right? I'm going to try to make a Portuguese version of it after this one. Every time I come online, I get self-conscious because I want to be ready for that. And I want to get ready and create a script. But normally, as you guys already know, these are stuff that come to my head and it goes as it flows. So I also love this organic point of it. One more time, I'm going to be sharing my ideas, my thoughts, my reflections, and I don't have any universal truth about what I'm saying. It's just my point of view, and if anybody's online while I'm doing this, I'm more than open to hear you guys' ideas. I don't know, ideas, whatever you think or how you agree, disagree, or whatever you want to add up, suggest, and bring to this conversation. All right? So the thing is like, so many things are going on lately with me, with life, not lately, always. And some of them triggers me so much. And the main thing that took me to create this, that made me create this video right now in this live, is the idea of what's special. How do we define and decide and consider there's something is special? What is it? What is that I don't know, what is this thing that we call special about things, people, situations, feelings, and anyways, right? And I really believe each one of us define this in one very different way. And it depends on our personality. It depends on what we're going through. It depends on what we've been wanting, our expectations, on the frequency of that thing happening, on how rare, that thing is to happen. Um, but I think maybe I have no ideas, very sure ideas of how we got to this point, but I really believe that in a Western country, I don't know if only in the Western or Eastern too, I'm just talking about it, but anyways, how we got to assume that things are special are normal things that don't happen so frequently. So I think we tend to think that it's special or rare, things that are unique, that happens only once in a while, that happens very randomly, sometimes unexpectedly, things that we're not aware of, like miracles is such a special thing. So I don't know, I'm not saying that we do this with everything, but we tend to think of special or defining something as special when they get to this point, right? And I've been thinking a lot about this because at the same time that this is interesting and true to a certain extent, this can be so devaluating of what in my reality is considered special. And there has nothing to do with being unique or being once in a lifetime or being a miracle. So from my personality, I'm going to be talking about my personality. I'm a type 7 on the Enneagram. And I know I experiment things as a 7 and as the way I was raised and with my cultural things. But the thing that motivated me to go through this, especially last night, was dancing with Anderson. From Brenda and Anderson, dancing Zouk with him, and just observing and just looking at people around, how people were dancing, how people were feeling about dancing with him, how were they living that experience or what they were having inside of them. And I talked to so many of these girls, not only about him, but about life in general, about what's special and how do you know that what you feel is special or good or positive or that adds up to your life. And it's so interesting how we get to question very easily things as not being special if they're either not consistent or if they are given to everybody else. So let me just talk about Anderson. I was analyzing his dance and how I feel dancing with him and all things. and how people felt. And I was like, it is so interesting that this guy is just so capable of creating this dance and life experience for every follow. Let's say every follow. I don't mean every follow, but for most of the follows that I see, they leave this dance with this experience of joy. It was connected, it was playful. I felt seen, received, it was comfortable. Not always, not 100%, not for everyone. But in most situations, I see people coming out in this place of gratitude and joy, which gets me so excited about it. And I was like, wow, what is this that he's creating? So for some time, I spend my time thinking of this and experiencing this because I feel the same when I'm dancing with him and with other people too. But then I realized how easy it is for people to question. In this case, it didn't happen to me, but it has happened before. How easy it is for us to question that something was special if it was not only with me. Like, okay, so he can do this with everybody else. Everyone, let's just put it in general words, right? He can dance with everybody else and everyone feels good about it. All right, everyone loves it. How is this? How can it be special for me to dance with him? And how do I make a difference? How can these have been special? So it's interesting because we start just kind of questioning our own experience of the thing. It's like we don't trust, or we just start going to our heads. That's why I wrote that we get into self-doubt, or we get into our heads, because when we are in a situation, dancing with someone, living life, or going through experience, or creating, making a friendship, getting a job, I don't know, whatever it is that you feel in your body, that is the sense of reality, authenticity, and existence and presence of the thing. So when we're feeling that thing, it is so real to us. But when that thing is over or done, we start letting the body like kind of chill, and we start going back to our heads, and we start thinking like, was that real? Did I make that up? Like, am I making that up? Was it really that good, the thing that I was living? Was it really real that I was having that nice experience? Was it really real that I was not making stuff up? Do you guys understand this? So how do we easily leave the body and the sensation of presence and accomplishment and realization, and we start going back to our heads because it is so hard for us to believe that either something that is offered and given to someone cannot be so special. Because if it was special, only few people would get it, right? So this kind of thinking really bothers me. At the same time, it interests me. Like, why do we get there? Why do we start questioning that what I'm living, it is not real or is special, because more people start having and feeling the same that I have? Why do I start establishing in my own thinking or in my own reality that in order for that thing to be true, special, or real, I have to be one of the only people, or one of the only kind of human experiencing that, so it starts making sense. So this is one of the things that questions me a lot, and that calls a lot of my attention. And the other thing is like how easy it is for us to let the new present moment to question the reality of whatever happened in the past. So maybe because of my personality, maybe because of my way of thinking, what I'm learning, what I've been doing, and what I believe in, it's changing my mind. But I was reading this book and these things about presence, and I've been wanting to share with people like this place where we can leave moments and understand they might be temporary, they might be not as unique or rare. There are more people might be in that situation, that I might create that kind of connection and relationship with more people, and it can still be special and real even if it stopped existing a while later, a moment later. So I think life is in constant change, and life is in constant mutation. So I think we tend to feel or believe that if something was present yesterday and it's not present now, Maybe that thing didn't even exist. Well, what if that thing existed, even for just 2 seconds, and it was real, special, present, amazing, maybe even overwhelming or scary, and a moment later, the same thing just changed, being the way it is, in the way it was, and start feeling different for whatever reason. Because either I'm in a different place, or because now I have other expectations, or, so I don't know. I think we tend to cancel and question a lot the things that we've lived and the experiences that we've had, because we are so afraid of the change. We are so afraid that things are not going to be exact the same way and universal and forever and controllable, that I start questioning if they were real in a moment that they were. And I agree that part of it might be our projection. Maybe I was projecting that that dance was good when actually it was not. Or that relationship was good when actually was not. I see the positive and the valid side of this questioning. I am a seven, and at the same time, I have a lot of questioning. I get easily analytical. I get easily in my head. So for me to leave my body and go to my head to start overthinking, classifying, categorizing things, it's very easy. So believe me, guys, if you guys can do this and you think I'm talking because I don't do it, I'm always in my body, that is not true. I also get there. But lately I've been wanting to stay with my body for as long as it is, and maybe accepting the fact that whatever I feel, it is real in the moment that it is, even though the same thing can change in a minute, in a day, in a month, in a year later, and not stop being as special as before. Or I also get this feeling like I used to think that things that were special, they were very unique and rare. Like, so if something happens too frequently, too often with everybody, maybe that's too common. Maybe that's too easy. Maybe that's too simple. And for some reason, I developed this thinking, maybe this thing inside of my body, where I start thinking that it has to be very rare to be really real. And after some time with the work that I've been doing, I'm like, that is not really true, Nelly. um, Different levels of connections that we're able to create, and experiences we're able to share with people and learn and experience from people, can happen with the real frequency, because either you develop the skills, the sensibility, the sensitivity, how do I say that in English? I don't know. So the sensibility and the skills and the presence and the mindset and the body set and the soul set that you needed to keep that thing running in your life. And that is not gonna turn things into less special, because now they're happening more, or more frequently than before. So I'm just gonna give you guys one example about me. Hi, Afosa. I love when someone just say hi, or just say something, or give me a feedback or a reflection back. But okay, so the example that I was about to give, okay, I'm gonna give a very personal one. So when people meet me, or especially, I mean, my whole life it's been like this. People get this sensation that they know me since forever. My gosh, there's one little hair here. I always have one hair bothering me, right? So, all right, focus. So my whole life, I have created very deep connections with people. Very, it is very easy for me to connect. Sometimes it's hard for me to keep the connection because of my way of living and the things that I have to work on myself. But I feel so naturally interested and curious about people, the way they are, what they think, what they want, and how humans work, our mind, our body, our emotions. This is something that's so good to me, that I truly want to be there for people. And I really appreciate all levels of differences, to the point that I enjoy, even when people are so extremely different from me. Not when I'm triggered, not when I'm stressed, but most of the time I tend to have some level of openness to be there, even if it's just out of curiosity, even if I might not change a thing about myself, but I'm like, whoa, interesting that these people are this way, or people behave this way and they feel this way, and it's so true. It is so authentic to them. I don't feel a thing about this that this person is talking about, but they are, and their passion and reality motivates me. So it's always been very interesting to me how I can easily connect and stay and stick with people. But after some time, after some people just mentioning this, Nelly, it feels like I know you forever, I start questioning myself. I'm like, am I really doing something special here? Is this really worth it? Is this a value? Does this really add up to my life? Does this really matter? Since everyone can connect, what is this, you know? And I kind of lost the appreciation that I used to have for myself, or for the connections that I was able to build, because they were not so unique. So maybe I was not really doing something important. Maybe I was not really doing something that was worth doing. And I kind of had this feeling inside of me for a long time. And lately I've been going back to this place and feeling like maybe in the last 2 years, like I've been working on developing skills truly, consciously, with awareness, that keeps me creating this connection, and maybe just trying to understand what is this that I do that makes so easy for me to just be with people. Um, yeah, what is the easy thing about it? What is this that I'm doing? So I'm looking for awareness of, I'm sorry, what are these things that I'm doing this whole life? What are these things that I'm doing? But at the same time, I'm just enjoying the fact that I'm able to love doing this and appreciating when it happens. And it is not rare. I cannot say this is rare for me. It is somehow easy. It's somehow easy, but it's my passion. So I can do this. I can do so much of this and be so honest about it. And every connection that I make, it's so important. Every connection is so intense. Every connection is so meaningful. Every connection has so much to give, so much to bring up, so much to sparkle. And that doesn't mean that every connection is going to last forever. That doesn't mean that I'm going to be able to stay connected in the same intensity with everyone all the time. But they were important and special in that time. And most of the time, they're going to keep on being special, and showing them this connection is going to come up slowly, or with time for me, right? And I see that some people might question this, like, how can my relationship with you be special if we're able to kind of create this connection with everyone? So how is this that I'm special? And then I've been thinking of this because when I saw Anderson dancing and I danced with him and I felt like the most special human on earth, and I saw 15 million girls dancing and feeling kind of the same way, coming out like I've experienced the universe, I was like, whoa, this is so special. This is so special. And it is special in a not selfish way. It is special not because it has to be with only me or just for me to be worth or important or to matter. It is special because humans are really able to be authentic to the level they can create relationships that long last and create deep roots and meaning and bring awareness, and they can happen frequently if you really working towards it, if you're really putting yourself there, if this is really what you're looking for. And I'm like, wow, this is so special in a non-selfish way, but it requires so much presence and so much acceptance of your state of beingness and mind, at the same time that it requires so much of awareness, so you don't let your head and your mind come on away and question the reality of things that are there, just because they might not last with the same intensity for as long as my wish wanted. Does this make sense to you guys? I have no clue if it is. So yeah, this is basically what's been going on with me, how it's easy for us to doubt the reality of our emotions, and either positive or negative. These names are very weird for me. Oh my gosh, my hairs are always crazy. Oh my god. I'm here in my pajamas, guys. This is how I am. I wake up and I have something to say. And I gotta say. So Yeah, how easy maybe it's for you guys. I'm wondering how easy it is for you guys to get to your head and start overthinking and analyzing and self-doubting and doubting things that has happened, things that have happened in your life. How easy for you to be stuck in your head. How easy for you to start going to the place where you start asking, was that enough? Am I enough? Was this really good? Was it good enough? Because if it was good enough, if I was enough, if that was important, if that was special, that would keep on being the same forever and ever. So we start going to this place that something has to exist forever and ever, and most of the time it has to happen to only us. This selfish sensation of specialness. And I think um, life is actually interesting because I was doing some correlation with this in monogamy and polygamy and stuff. Okay, I'm not really gonna bring this conversation here, but it's somehow this where I also lead to. I think the monogamy, not only sexually, not monogamy only as a way to deal with people uh, in the oh my gosh, my English is gone. Not only about sex or sexual life or romance or loving relationships or love relationships or romantic relationships, but monogamy in the way that we deal with the world, with life in general. I believe this is what actually these terms kind of talk to. So when we have this need to be the one on where when we have this need to be chosen, and when we have this need to be the most important thing, like I want to be the most important thing to one person, and we start doubting if we are really worth it, because maybe I don't have one person that is crazy about me, but I might have many other, whatever number it is, of real person that are really there for me. And I start thinking, do I matter? Because if I matter, there would be only one person that would care only about me and about nobody else, that would just put me in the first place forever and ever. So I think we kind of, oh my gosh, I think I went too far with this conversation. But anyways, um, I think this monogamic way of thinking, that I have to be special for being the one, and most of the time the only one, uh, helps us to question the true reality of what we're living and experiencing in the world. And maybe it gets easier for us to get into our heads, and maybe instead of that, just stick to what it is in our bodies, in our hearts. Yeah, in the moment that it is. This is just a little bit of what I wanted to talk about. Since I don't have a script, I start wandering and going to places and things. But I'd like to share with you guys some quotes that I took from The Power of Now, which is this book, right? And I have these ones in my fridge. Oh, I have these one in my fridge. They're always in my fridge because I always read them to remind me of being with the moment and of dealing with the reality of what it is. Even if in that moment it feels like not so positive for me, I really believe there's a transformation and growth is happening at every second, even when we're not noticing it, and even when we're not so happy about the way it is going, but it is going. The flow of life is like always there, creating something, changes something, opening possibilities, right? So these are the quotes that I want to leave to you guys. If somebody watches this video, this video is so long. I know that people don't normally make time for things that are so long and just go randomly like this, but it's all right. So these are the uh, quotes I'd like to give to you guys today. I have learned to offer no resistance to what it is. I have learned to allow the present moment to be, and to accept the impermanent nature of all things and conditions. I found peace. I found joy. So I was like, wow, this is so powerful. Like being with the present moment and offering no resistance to what it is. And sometimes what it is the questioning. What it is this doubt. What it is this feeling that, is it really true? Am I making too too much of this, I'm making too less of this. Sometimes what it is the question itself, and it's important to be with what it is, right? At the same time, the questioning can be, in certain situations, the mask of what it is, because we're so afraid that what it is not going to last as long as I wished it did to be considered worth it in my set of values, that I'm afraid to lose it. And then what it is stop being, because I start living in this projection, living in this future projection of what I want and what I need, right? So I love this, accept the impermanent nature of all things, all conditions. And to complement that, it's the second one. To offer no resistance to life is to be in a state of grace, ease, and lightness. Cycles will come and go, but with dependency gone, there is no fear of loss anymore. Life flows with ease. And I think this totally sum it up my way of thinking, my way of living lately, the moment and the phase that I am in. It is like I have this trust in life and in the flow of life, and maybe a little bit of trusting myself and in humankind and nature and universe and the life force that is all around us. And this level of inner trust in what it is helps me to be with the present moment without making universal, or without comparing it to the point that I make less or more of it, because it is not the same way forever and all and ever. And also because it's not unique, since many other people can be experiencing and living the same thing that I'm living with the same intensity and joy and passion and reality, authenticity, you know. Yeah, guys, so I guess that's it for now. There's a lot I want to talk about. But just before I go, I'm going to leave one more quote for you guys just to think and reflect on. And the quote is about this. I think this might help us to maybe get a little bit out of our heads and allow ourselves to be more in our bodies. Why am I talking about being in our bodies? Because I recently, very recently, well, since I am 30 years old right now, it has to be recent. Even if it was 10 years ago, it's very recent. But I've been discovering these last 10 years of my life, I think, yeah, maybe 5, 6, when I really found Zouk. I think that's when everything started and shifted in me. That feeling into the world through our bodies has a different level of openness and reality and truth, that it's tangible. I can almost hold it and grab it for as long as it is, and it's almost unquestionable. It's almost like an unarguable feeling. Does it make sense? Or impression or perception of the world. I'm not saying this is universal, but there is this feeling that when we feel in our body, it is real. And it is real not because it's to everyone in the same way, but it's real to me, you know, in the moment that it is. Anyways, guys, so one of the things that I think it might help us to get out of our heads and a little bit more into our bodies is this thing about nonviolent communication that talks about not getting confused, not confusing our strategies to get some needs met with the needs itself. So this is what they say. This is an answer from Marshall Rosenberg in this book. Don't get addicted to your strategies, your requests, or your desires. That's a very important part of our training, to not mix real human needs with the way we've been educated to get those needs met. So be careful to not get your strategies mixed up with your needs. We don't need a new car, for example. Some people may choose a new car as a strategy for meeting a need for reliability or peace of mind. But you've got to watch out, because society can trick you into thinking it's the car or it's the new car that you really need. And he's gonna change the subject, but this is really interesting. And I think this is what we do when we start thinking, we start making things less special or more special, like either going over or less, it's because we might be confusing this strategy with the need. So um, yeah, I think this might be happening to all of us. And here he's talking about society tricking us, but I think it is more than society. It's us, it is our family, it's our internal experience, it's our own shadows, insecurities, and fears. It is our expectations. It is what, I don't know, the external pressure. And we start like thinking that what I want is this, but then we realize if we start going deep into ourselves, we're going to realize that this is actually the strategy that I'm using to try to get this. So, for example, he's using about the car, right? So maybe what you're wanting, not about the car, but maybe what you're wanting is to find joy. Maybe what you're looking for is deep ways to connect with people. And maybe you were doing this in certain way, in a way A, and you got so attached to getting this done, to try to accomplish that need through that lenses, that it looks like if you don't do it that way, there's no other way to get it done. Does it make sense? And everything else is a waste of time. Everything else is worthless. Nothing really makes sense. And maybe what we're doing is that we're sticking to the strategy so deeply that we actually confused and we missed the goal because we made the strategy the goal. Does it make sense? We made the strategy the need. And once these things start happening, I think it's easier for us to question if I am enough. Is this really real? Are things good? Was this really special? Does this really make sense? And the problem is not the question. If there's a problem, I'm going to consider there's a problem. Maybe the problem is that we attach ourselves to a question and one level of answer to that question that cannot change or mutate itself into being a new possibility. And we feel restricted, frustrated, overwhelmed, suffocated, as if there's no other choice, when we are so capable of changing, building, and creating our own reality, even if for that we need to change this strategy. Because like Tony Robbins, like, right, coaching wise, the action plan, it is not the why. The why and the purpose is so much bigger than the action plan that I'm creating. If the action plan is not working, maybe there's some little things I can do here to shake things up and keep on going, walking my walk, walking my path, and accomplishing what truly makes sense to my body, to my soul, to my human experience on this earth. Okay, guys, so that's it. That was the discussion part of it. I might never stop, and I just love discussing about these things. I wish I could have some more dialogues about this. I have these dialogues, but normally they're not during the live. I'm always talking to a lot of people and discussing about so many things. And the result of this conversation with friends, students, family, everyone is what takes me here. All right? Thank you so much for whoever has watched it. And if no one is watching it, or very few people is watching it, I hope Nelly can see these videos in future. And I know that this video is going to remind her in future of the things that she believes and of the path she's going through and where she's looking forward to go with her own life, personality, and reality. And I know that in future I'm going to watch this video again and I'm going to be, man, was I in this place? That's how I was feeling that. And I just love this journaling thing through video. And then I'm going to remind myself that I know certain things. Maybe in future I'm going to forget them. I'm going to be like, whoa, I know this. I didn't remember I knew it, but it was there. So yeah, that's it, guys. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. And I'll see you guys soon.